It's the kid, I'm Code Diggs. You're tuned into the biggest flex. Today, we got Pillar of the Community featuring Trustee Thomas Harper. What up, T?
What's the word?
How you feeling, brother?
Man, I'm blessed, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm good, bro. I'm glad to have you here, my man.
Glad to be in the
presence.
Glad to be here.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you here, man. So I got to ask you, T, what's your biggest flex?
What's my biggest flex? Just growing up to become a young man and doing what I was set out that God's plan for me was.
Your purpose.
That's what I feel like I'm doing now. Like he put me in position and place to do what I was set out to do.
Big facts. I love that. Walking in that purpose, that's as you should be.
That's right.
And I always tell people, ain't nothing more important than your purpose.
Oh, definitely.
Nothing. That comes first because God put you in that position so you can provide for everything else.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Most definitely, bro.
Now, for those watching who don't know, who are you? Where do you come from?
A young man from Robbins, Illinois. Working in Robbins, Illinois. I was blessed to be a self-employed barber in Robbins.
One of the best.
Well, I mean, I take my hat off to all of them. One thing I can say, I never say I'm the best. I never say I'm the coldest or the rawest. But
you leave that to everybody else.
I will, but I will stand behind saying I'm the hardest worker. No. I work hard.
So spill. But that's real shit though. Somebody had said something, I think I was watching ESPN or something, they say you never heard Michael Jordan call himself the greatest. Never heard Michael Jordan say I'm the GOAT, I'm the best. You never heard him say that.
But always gonna be somebody better than you, somewhere,
And so you leave that to other people to decide. You don't want to put the title on yourself.
Not
you
at
know
all.
what I'm saying?
Not at all.
And then you hear LeBron saying, "Oh, that made me the GOAT." When I did that made me the GOAT. And I'm like, you can't put that term on yourself, brother. You gotta leave that to the public.
Most definitely.
Yes, now, what does Robbins mean to you?
Robbins mean to me, it's a lot of history in Robbins. It's a lot of positive history in Robbins.
Yes, it is.
Which I'm one reason too. I'm glad to be a part of that. To make Robbins flourish, to help Robbins flourish by doing what I'm doing now. But it's a lot of history in Robbins, positive history that's been unseen and unheard before. So
right. A lot of people don't know it.
No, they don't know we had a airport and just
exactly.
Things of that nature. So it's a lot of positive history in Robbins, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah, me too. I mean, I feel like all Robbins citizens should feel proud to be a part of Robbins.
Just being growing up in Robbins, and a lot of people look at it, they'll try to put a negative insight on it, but nevertheless, that's where we were born and raised. So.
Right. Greatest time of my life.
Mine too. And it's like, we X out all the negativity, and we just, we persevere and just go through, what we go through. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't change it for the world,
Facts.
We could have been anywhere else, but, we grew up the way we grew up, but which reason being we sitting here doing what we're doing right now,
Real spill. And I've never heard nobody actually shy away from being from Robbins. Like anybody I've ever known from Robbins, they always was proud. Somebody say, "Where you from?" "Oh, I'm from Robbins." No matter where you from, because I name whole weight in many ways.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? You be anywhere in the city, where you from? "I'm from Robbins."
Yeah.
Okay, well, they know you cut of a certain caliber.
Yes, most definitely.
Real spill, no doubt. And do you find being a trustee challenging at times, or is it just like what you expect it to be?
Well, I didn't know what to expect until I really sat in that seat.
Right.
I just always told myself, it was just way back years ago. I just wanted to be a voice for the town, or just be a some type of source of help for the town. So I'm like, it was presented to me to run for trustee, and I was like, well, better way to try to help my town and be a voice for it to become somebody that they look forward to be the voice and say, well, he gonna go out and fight for us, or he gonna go out and make sure we get in this, so. And be a part of a team of people there, because it's not just me. I sit with a board and a mayor that we all have the same interest and the same love, so we all gonna put our effort.
Yes, sir, no doubt. Now, what exactly is the job of a trustee?
The job of a trustee, we make sure the bills are paid for the village. Or municipality, whatever you are, if you're in a village or a town.
Mm-hmm.
we listen to the concerns of the citizens, and we just make sure the processes and the ordinances are all followed.
Okay.
Within our municipality.
Oh, okay. Cool. That's putting me up on something too, because I kind of knew, but I was kind of, you know what I'm saying? Kind of, but kind of didn't.
There's more to it, that people would think, than just, we meeting up and just talking about certain stuff. Like we just have to make sure certain things are in place, for the town, for the community.
Right. Now, how does it feel being the face of a place like Buchanan's, which has been a staple in the community for a long time? I mean, I was getting my hair cut there as long as I can remember. I remember falling asleep in the chair and waking up, my haircut was done. So it's like it hold sentimental value to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
That's like one of the first places I got my hair cut. And just the talks over the years that we had in there, the conversations, we did have some deep conversations. We did have some spiritual conversations. We did have some emotional conversations. There's been a lot that then took place in there, and it means a lot to me. So what does it mean to you just being the face of a staple like Buchanan's, bro?
Well, shout out to the owner, Miss Belinda Buchanan. She
Shout out
gave me a
Niece.
chance. Yes, sir. And she gave me a chance to be able to, explore my self-employment through Buchanan's, and I just made sure that I stayed true to what I was supposed to do, and I flourished from it, and I wouldn't think about going nowhere else,
Right.
But being as I'm from the town, I work in my town, I live in my town, so I mean, it's it's a blessing,
All about the town, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I remember when you first started working at Buchanan's.
It was a struggle. It was a struggle.
I never forget when you first started, and when Tim was there too. Shout out to Tim.
Yes, sir.
And Tim had left, and he was like, "Oh man, I don't know how it's gonna pan out," because I know a lot of people came with Tim, and I remember telling you, I was like, "It's gonna work out for you good," because people, this is their barbershop. A lot of people, this is where they go to get their haircut. And a lot of people, this is their area. A lot of people just gonna walk up here. You're gonna walk up, and you're gonna have people who familiar with you. They been get cut by you, or they gonna come in and be like, "Oh, come here. Well, can you cut me, bro?"
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And then how I see today, how you thriving with it, bro. It makes me smile because it's like
I appreciate it.
I already knew it. It's like I seen that happening already. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate that, but it was just staying as humble as possible and just making sure that I could do my job to the best of my ability, and then which grew relationships with people. That opens up the door for more and more. For people. Oh, well, I heard you know what you're doing. And, well, come on, you sit down. Now you finna find out. So,
Right. Yeah.
And that's just over the course of the years. And granted, that was 16 years ago, and I'm still here. Still doing what I'm supposed to do. So it's like it's kind of a euphoric feeling for me, because at the end of the day, I mean, that's what I stood out to do when I said I stepped away from, I was working at IHOP,
Right, yeah.
This is about to be changing, but I got to make it work,
Right.
And I basically did, and they made sure that I could be comfortable and be able to take care of my family and, do everything that I need to do. So
yeah, and a lot of people, they scared to jump out of comfortability. Like you saying, you was working at IHOP, and you know what I'm saying, you was line cook, probably making decent money and stuff like that or whatever, but it's like, all right, I'm jumping into something else, kind of into the unknown.
Yeah.
But I believe. And
it was something that I loved anyway, and they say whenever if you love your job, you never work a day in your life.
Facts.
So, and I never mentally get tired of cutting hair. I never wake up and say, man, I don't feel like going to work today. I don't feel like cutting hair today. Right. Anybody would physically get tired.
Right. Facts.
And that's with anything. But when you don't mentally get tired, it's like that's for you.
You found the passion.
Yeah, it is.
And I love that for you, bro, because I think that's what everybody should strive for. But I see so many people who have dreams and a good job will come along and they'll just let that dream go.
Mm-hmm.
And I always tell people, never let that dream go.
You can't, because you'll be searching and searching and searching. And granted, not to turn this to you, but for you, for example,
Facts. I'm perfect.
This is you, mm-hmm. And this was your dream. This was
right.
One of them, because at first you started out with rapping, but now,
exactly.
You probably didn't know when you was rapping and spitting that you was gonna be,
I
having
would
your own
imagine.
podcast.
Right.
But needless to say, God send you in the direction that you need to go. He show you the things He needs you to see. So I take my hat off to you because that's like that's you saying it to me, but I'm looking at you and what you're doing, and I applaud that.
I appreciate that, bro.
You could be a whole bunch of other places. You could be riding a forklift somewhere, doing whatever, but it's not. You're not serving your purpose.
Exactly, and that's the key, bro. Serving your purpose, hearing what God is telling you, seeing what He telling you, and what He got planned for you, bro, and following those steps.
Yeah.
And like I say, a lot of people they'll be in stride with it, but they'll start making a decent income, and they'll forget about it.
They'll become complacent. They just they stagnant. Like, all right, well, I'm making this, and I don't have to go nowhere else. I can pay my bills and do whatever with this.
Right.
But you never really satisfied and happy because you're not doing what your purpose was set out.
I still feel like you'll wake up angry and bitter one day.
Most definitely.
One day you're gonna wake up and just be like,
or regretful, or you don't want to feel a sense of regret, especially when it's you trying to do something for yourself.
Facts, bro. Facts. And I've seen a lot of people fall victim to that. So many talented people not walking in their purpose. But I understand. Yeah. I do understand. You got family, got to make that money. You got to
do what you got to do, but at the same token,
find room for that dream. Yeah. Even if you dog tired, set aside 20 minutes. Yeah. Set aside an hour at night before you go to bed. Set aside a space where this is your space to do that thing, no matter what it is. So that space, you look at it and it almost haunts you like, damn, I ain't been in that space in a minute. Now go to that space, your dream, write it down, what your dream is. You know what I'm saying? Keep looking at it every day and find time for that dream. If it's just, I can only do it on the weekend, just do it on the weekend, but never just let it go, man.
You'll make that your muscle memory, where every day that you sit there and you jotting down something that that's a dream. Like now because that becomes your life. And you're like, man, I was set out to do this. So every day that you write that down, like you're saying, or you just, you document it, one day you're going to pick that up, like, man, it's time to do this, and it's, you'll know your time, but you just never want to let your time go to waste, and don't be wasteful about nothing. You just gotta do what you were set out to,
I think a lot of people are scared of the unknown. They scared because they don't know what's going to happen to them.
They are.
And I think
they are.
That's
like I said,
faith.
They just stay stuck.
That's faith. You gotta have faith. It's like God. People, you have atheists who don't believe in God. Oh, he's not doing it. Oh, he's not doing that. You don't have faith.
Yeah.
He wants you to be led by faith. He wants you to believe. He wants you to believe without knowing. Just know, believe, you feel it, and then He will reveal Himself to you in some form or fashion. He will reveal Himself to you, but you have to believe. You gotta have that faith.
You don't believe in something, you'll fall for anything.
Exactly. You don't know where nothing gonna come from. You don't see it. When you're doing something, you don't see where a blessing gonna come from or how it's gonna happen. It's not for you to see. Enjoy the journey. That's all it's about, man. Real spill. Now, let me ask you this, see, what's one of your fondest memories of the village of Robbins?
My fondest memories, I could say, one way that I started out before I became a trustee and was just trying to get involved. I was granted the opportunity to help with the Robbins Fire Department and the Robbins Cadet Program back in 2013.
Okay.
And I kind of seen then like my purpose is here. My purpose is somewhere in here. Now, I understand be the police, or right? I can't put out a fire or nothing, but it's like I serve a purpose, and it just networking with the people and helping the youngsters that was coming into the fire academy. I just was there to help. Just talk to them and administer to them, and try to just see where their minds were. And that was go in and say, just like being in a barbershop. As somebody sit down, you gonna talk to them. So right. If I could be a voice of somebody to you in a positive manner, I'm gonna try to do that at all costs. So
right.
By going into that with Robbins Fire Department, that's one of my fondest memories that I had, just being out there in Robbins.
That's what's up. And I think you being a barber and a trustee, it kind of could go hand in hand because you able to hear people who from Robbins voice their opinions about the village of Robbins.
multiple infinite conversations about Roberts, you know. So
yeah, and you see people views, and you be like, okay, maybe this is something we can work on, or you can explain something to them that they might not quite understand, because there's been things I didn't understand, and when I brought it up, it was explained to me, and I'd be like, oh, so this is going on.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah.
See, even just being from Roberts, you don't hear everything that's going on. You don't see everything that's going on. And like I said, the pages, the Roberts page, the Village page, all this stuff, they be posting a lot of stuff, but a lot of people don't be tapping in. A lot of people don't be
you will read something that may not be true. You know, sometimes
Facts.
people put out things that, you know, that's not necessarily, you know, true, but
right.
by the time it get to the sixth person, though, they got their own whole story. So you know, it's really like, I'm telling you, you know.
Facts. It's like if you say something to school, like say if we as a school, it's like, I stepped on your shoe. You know what I'm saying? Then you go around like, you know, he stepped on his shoe.
I'm gonna go stomp his feet out.
Yeah.
By the time we got to
the sixth person, it's like, man, he spit on his shoe.
Yeah.
He stepped on it, then he took his shoes off and threw on top of the power line.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, God damn, son, how did that happen?
So that just feels good to be able to, you know, get that information out, just, you know, for people, to the people, you know, on top of me, you know, cutting their hair, you know, I can sit and tell you, something may come up, they may say something about anything, and I may have the information for it. If not, I'll find it for you. So you won't be just spread, you know, false information, or, you know,
or if you've been told false information,
right,
you can be told the correct thing, you know what I'm saying, to get a true understanding. So I definitely get that, and I feel like being in that chair, I know certain people probably say things, and you be like, oh well, this is that, or you might hear people voice certain things and be like, maybe that is an issue. Let me look into that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You gotta you able to make change.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
in multiple ways.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, real spill. Now, what do you feel of the current state of the village of Robbins? Do you feel like we on the up and up?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Yeah, looking good.
Shout out to Mayor Brian.
Shout out Mayor Brian.
Coming in, he had a purpose, and he was focused. And you know, if you could take a ride, and the administration, you could take a ride around the town, and you could see change with just off the strength that houses, these dilapidated houses are coming down. You know, you seeing it's much cleaner.
Yep. Facts.
You know, and before it's all said and done, God's will, that, you know, it'll be a level of confusion of, you can tell when you going into another town, when you go into Crestwood, when you go into Midlothian, and then you could tell when you come into Robbins.
Right.
But the way things are going now, it's gonna be like the level of confusion is what I mean is you won't know what town you in.
Yeah.
You're gonna be coming into Robbins, it's gonna be just as clean or just as nice as Midlothian or any other town. I'm not gonna just piggyback with them, but just any other town, you know, that's going up for me. You know, that's how I see it, you know, because once you clean up, you know, it's room for whatever you want. It's developers coming and everything. So
facts. Yeah. People driving slow through Robbins now.
Yeah.
They
ain't paying attention. You know, they seeing
flying past. You know what I'm saying? Like,
trying to hurry up. They're not trying to hurry up and get out of there. They looking to see how clean this is, right? You know, so
you know, that was that. Start noticing things that was there. Oh, they got a Harold's.
Yeah, most definitely. Businesses is coming from, you know, which is where and shout out to Harold's. That was a big thing too. You know, we getting a franchise business in our community.
Right.
Exactly. You can have all the mom and pop stores and things of that nature, but just to have a franchise business, which that'll make more come. You know,
exactly.
You never know what may come next. McDonald's or Dunkin', you know, we just trying to make the town grow.
So, right. Real spill, no doubt. And I see it happening, man. Like I say, the town is looking beautiful, more beautiful than ever. It's definitely on the up and up. And I've always been proud to be from Robbins, and I'm still proud to be from Robbins. And we looking good these days, man. And I see it only getting better, no doubt. And do you have any ideas for the village of Robbins that you would like to see come into fruition?
Well, I know it's mental health is kind of a problem in our community. So I would love to see, like, you know, more program for like our mental health citizens that's out there. You know,
I like that.
You know, that's you run into them at the stores and things of that nature. And, you know, some people shoo them off and get away from you. You know, but you know, those people need help just like anybody else. You know, and that's one thing that I'd love to see come, like a mental health program, just a space that they can go to, you know, because a lot of them, you know, they went through their own problems, you know,
Right.
all of them just not, you know, people just look at them, oh, they crazy, you know, but nevertheless, they got a story too. So
Facts.
we had some, you know, it's just an area for them to go and just, you know, speak their mind, or, you know, just say what's going on, you know, that'd be a major plus. So
yeah, because a lot of these people we've been seeing since we were kids.
Most definitely.
We've been seeing since we was little, and you can see the downslide, you know, if they was here.
Us just looking from the outside, oh, he crazy.
Right.
But never stop to have a conversation with him, you know,
Exactly.
Never know what he been through. Never know,
Right.
you know.
Real talk, man. I'm with you there, bro. I think that's a great idea, no doubt. Now, what's one of the biggest recent changes that you've seen in the village of Robbins?
Recent changes, or mainly, like I said, just the fact that just the cleaning up of the town. You know, we got developments about to happen off the strength of the cleaning up of the town. So
Right.
You know, that's one thing that, you know, which in due time everybody else will see too. Like, oh man,
Right.
Yeah, this is flourishing now. You know, so just to see that, just to know that people want to come build and put things out into the town. Like that's going to be a major change for the town.
Yeah, I seen it late though. It was like a cleanup day.
Oh yes, sir. Yeah, that was last Saturday, I believe. 2 Saturdays ago.
Yeah, and I seen it late, and I was like, damn, because I would have said something first. I would have said something about it on here, and I felt like all of us could have been out there. I would have been out there. It could be fun. You know what I'm saying? With all us being out there doing it collectively, we could turn that into something. That could be fun. It ain't got to be work or you feel like it's work. Man, this is beautifying our village.
Yep.
This looks good on us.
You're making where you lay your head that look nice.
Exactly. This is why kids roam. This is why kids grow up. You know what I'm saying? So that should be easy work.
And that'll teach them as they growing up, keep your area clean. It start out with your room, but
it's simple.
Once you get that down pack, all right, let's go outside. Let's clean up where we at, you know.
Right.
And then once you get done cleaning up where you at, let's go over here and help them. You know, that's major. So
I remember my pops used to make me wake me up in the morning and make me go outside and pick up paper. And I used to be so pissed off out there with a Dominic's bag. Picking up paper like, man, that's the guy. But now I get it. I
never saw the importance of that until you got older.
Like I see what he was doing.
Yep.
I see why he was doing it. And what was it hurting?
Yeah,
I was a young man. Get out there, pick up some paper for
taking 10 minutes away from your time.
Then go back and watch Nickelodeon.
Yeah,
Power Rangers or whatever the fuck I was doing.
or we'll go run and play somewhere. So.
Right, real spill. So I'm like, I get it. I understand. Man, keep your neighborhood looking out. I'll be like, man, this ain't our yard. It don't matter. Pick it up. Yeah. It can be blowing from here to there, whatever. Pick it up, man. It don't matter. Just beautify your area.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It makes you feel better. You know what I'm saying?
Look good, you're gonna feel good. You know?
Exactly, bro. Exactly. Because appearance is everything. That's one of the first things people judge you off of. So somebody who ain't never been to the village of Robbins, if they come through there, appearance is everything.
Yep.
You want them to see it and be like, oh, this is Robbins?
Yes, sir.
It shouldn't be on the top 10 worst cities not to go to in Illinois. You know what I'm saying? Like,
because they won't see that. You know, they like, man, it's clean over here. You know, or, you know, it look nice out here. Like, you know, so yeah, that goes a long way.
And I think the reputation kind of precedes itself. In a sense,
it does.
Where they still think Robbins is just this crazy 90s, like it was back in the early 90s. Just, you know what I'm saying? Hardcore gang banging and all this stuff going on. Robbins ain't like that no more.
It's not. It's not at all. You have crime everywhere, but the crime in Robbins has calmed down a lot.
A lot, yeah.
You know, and like I said, it's getting better. So that's what we just got to keep pushing. You know,
no spill, bro. I'm here all for it, no doubt. Sir. Now, do you think eventually, like, we'll see a day where Hispanic people become a part of the political front in Robbins?
Well, me personally, Robbins is a Black incorporated town from 1917.
Black incorporated.
I mean, I don't shun away from anybody because, you know, they come into our town too, and they more than welcome to. So, I mean, the best to them. I'll just leave it with that.
This is Robbins is always gonna be. I feel like should always be led by us. That's how I feel. But like you said, hey, y'all welcome. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I ain't had no bad experience with none of y'all. The neighbors are all cool. They
and
all,
it's an equal opportunity for everybody.
Yeah.
But at the same token, though, I stand by my town.
yeah,
So
me too, bro. I'm with you. I'm with you all the way. You said
Okay.
it perfect. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's welcome. Ain't no discrimination here, nothing like that.
not at all.
Um,
Not at all.
but we just stand 10 toes down from beginning to end.
Most
Real
definitely.
spill. Now, you're a multi-talented person, bro.
Thank you.
You cut hair. You're a musician. You play drums. Play keyboard. Make beats. Like, how do you feel about the talent that we have in Robbins? There's so much talent in Robbins. How do you feel about this talent all around Robbins?
Man, it's a lot.
Ain't it?
It's a lot of talent. It's a lot. To the one that I mean, I've heard a lot, and I tell them, if that's your dream, keep pushing, as like I seen my boy KO was on here. KO's there.
KO Ducats.
Gotta shout him out, but to all the any musician or artist, just keep following. You only get better. That's one thing that it come with repetition of practice. Like me starting out as a child, I didn't grow up with a basketball. I had an uncle in the house that was a musician, so he
Right.
You finna go in here and play this. You're gonna play this piano.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going outside dribbling the basketball shooting for me. I'm like, man, let me go in here and learn this song.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it just grew from there. And that's it became I love music. Like that was one of my just go to. It's like a source of peace for me.
Facts.
And I was just trying to engage in learning as much as I could. Okay, I learned this instrument. Let me learn this one. My uncle would teach me another one. So it's like that was been a dream, one dream that I had for years when I was a child, just trying to learn different, just learn as much as I could when it came down to music. It was quick story. I had my music teacher in high school. I won't say nobody's name or nothing, but I played percussion in high school. I played the drums in high school.
Okay.
So when I walked in class, one of the students was in there. They was playing the clarinet, and I just went in there. I said, "Oh, you playing B flat? Oh, you playing G? Now you playing A?" So my teacher walked in and said, "Mr. Harper, how do you even know that?" I said, "Well, I play instruments. I don't just play the drums. I play a lot. I play treble clef too." So he said, "Just go to your area." I said, "Oh man, okay."
You know more than me.
Yeah. I guess I knew that and he didn't. So it was like, I just took that as a sign. I was like, I killed it with kindness. I was like, all right, teacher, I got you.
I be teaching the class, but I got you.
Yeah, exactly.
But I got you, no doubt. Now, have being a part of politics always been an interest of yours?
Well, as a child, I grew up in politics. My grandfather actually was the mayor of Robbins from 1984 to 1989. I didn't
know that.
Me personally, I didn't know nothing about it off the strength that I was just born in '84. So, I didn't know nothing about what was going on. But at the end of the day, I just knew as I got older, I was like, when people say that, that he was a part of just trying to make sure the community was together.
Right.
And, trying to do as much as he could, and you get the good with the bad sometimes. And people, a lot of people shying away from politics and say, oh man, that's real, that can get dirty. As long as you stay on the straight and narrow, I stand for what's right, So if it's not right, I'm not going for it, no matter what it is,
Right.
At the end, as long as I stuck to that, that's my main goal.
So who came in after him? Was it Mayor Brody?
Brody, yes sir.
So Brody was mayor for a long time.
24 years. Brody was mayor for 24 years.
He was mayor for a long time, no doubt. Now, how important do you think it is for the average citizen to be involved in the community?
Very important. Because it's at the same token, we can put things in place and in order, but it's they have to come out and engage with us, so they'll know this is what's coming up, or this is what we got to do, or it's just like, you may see tickets going up on your house for some reason.
Right.
You didn't know that your grass needed to be cut,
Certainly,
you know,
right.
or things like that, or that, and that's minute. But at the same token, though, it's important that you come out and you hear what's going on in the village, so you'll be aware.
Agreed.
You know, so that's just it's and two, the more the citizens that get involved, you know, it becomes unity. It's unified. You
Right,
know,
right.
it's like, you know, I serve a purpose as a trustee. The mayor serve a purpose as the mayor. Our administration serve a purpose of what they do, but at the same token, the citizens have their own job too.
Right.
And that's to keep up with, you know, what they acquired, like their house, whatever the case is, you know, with so far as just making sure, like you said, we got to make sure that your home is together, but you got to know what's going on around your home as well.
Exactly.
You don't have to ask so and so what's going on over there if you came out to the meetings and heard
Right.
what, you know, you already knew or foreseen what was going to happen, or just knew what was going to happen off the strength that you heard about it a month before.
Right.
And that's all included with coming to just engage with the citizens and come to the meetings just so you can hear what's going on. And
Right.
and for some people that may not be good for them, but it's now they got media sources. Now you can look at us on Facebook, and hear what's going on in the community on Facebook. So it's just it's very important that the citizens get involved.
I agree. And those meetings, they open, the Tuesday meetings, they
Yeah.
have the
Yeah,
second
they
and
open
fourth
meetings,
Tuesday.
open to the
of every
public,
month.
yeah,
They open to the
yeah.
public, yeah. So more people need to tap into that. Like I said, myself included. And because there's a lot of things that I thought needed, like I would say, oh man, this should be going on, this should be happening. And it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I just
You
I just didn't know it
about
because
you know,
ain't nobody really in the streets talking about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not in the streets like that too much these days anyway, but ain't too many people just randomly talking about it. And the ones that know are a part of, you know, are ones who do come to the meetings every second and fourth Tuesday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Or they connected to somebody who is a trustee or who work for the village or something like that. They'll know and they'll tell you like, oh, well, this is happening or something like that. You'd be like, oh, okay, you know. So I think it's important for everybody to get involved. And like I said, it can actually be fun. You know, it don't have to feel like it's work or feel like it's I'm coming here because I got an issue or something like that. No, it ain't got to be that. It could just be like, man, let's go see what's going on, see what's happening. Maybe even throw around some ideas. And you know, there's power in numbers.
Most definitely.
You know, so
it is.
If people want certain things done or feel like certain things should be done, that could be good for the village. If it's enough people asking about it or making I ain't gonna even say making a fuss about it, but just putting their input in about it, then it possibly could happen. Mm-hmm. You know, it's open. You know, the mayor even said himself, he's open to, you know, he ain't hard to find. Talk to him, you know, stuff like that. So I'm like, man, that's real spill. How many people have the opportunities where the mayor will be like, hey, yeah, just come talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm around. You know, a lot of them you might not never see. You know, it'd be like the CEO of your company. You know his name, but you don't ever see him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But it's not like that. So people do got the opportunity, man, and to tap into the village Robbins more and get more understanding. And like I said, myself included, I definitely plan on finding a way to get more involved in the village one way or another in the future. That's no doubt, bro.
For sure.
Real spill. Now, do you plan on climbing higher in the political field someday, or do you want to keep it at the trustee level? How do you feel about that?
Well, I just feel like I just want to be a vessel to the community. You know, I don't. It's not about a title, or you know, I'm not trying to be further than the next person. You know, I want to engage with the people that I'm with, and you know, we just push the narrative of just making our village better. You know?
Right. No doubt. So, you say your grandfather was a mayor for what? For a 4-year term?
4-year term, yeah.
Okay. And he was, how old was he when he
became mayor?
Yeah.
Let me see. I think it was 55.
Okay.
I believe he was like 55.
Now, I'm sure it's got to be some type of age limit on becoming like the mayor, or just to be like to run run for like a trustee, anything. Does it got to be a certain age limit? Well, like you got to be 21 or?
Well, no, I mean, we got the youngest mayor state of Illinois.
Yeah, I know it's
you
like
know, so
29. So
at the end of that, I mean, no, it's not. I don't think it's an age requirement. I had to look into that. I don't want to lie to you and say it's not. You know, but nevertheless, it's. I mean, I think more so. I would say that I would get involved and learn as much as I can 1st to whoever before they just jump out and say, "Oh, I want to be the mayor." And, you know,
of course.
It's different things you should learn first, and and vet yourself first before you just jump out on it.
Yeah, certain things you gotta understand. Like
most
I wouldn't know how to. I can just jump out there and be like, "Hey, I want to be a mayor." Like I wouldn't know what to do. I wouldn't even know where to begin. You know, so like you said, you would have to get an understanding. And I feel like this is something that you would have had to be involved in and been seeing for a while,
right?
Because politics can be tough. That's why you hear a lot of people say, I don't talk politics and I don't talk religion with people, because a lot of people fall out over political views. Like, I seen women actually breaking up with a man because they felt like they might have voted for Trump and they voted for Kamala. And they're like, oh, you voted for Trump, so I'm breaking up with you over that.
That's crazy.
And I'm like, that's tough.
That's
but political views, I guess it go deep like that, man.
It does.
And they were saying like, oh, black men, they did us dirty. No, 85% of black men voted for Kamala. You know what I'm saying? And the other, 15 whatever percent, they did what they did, voted for Trump. But I feel like in those situations, a Trump, a Kamala, they already know who they putting in there.
Most definitely.
That's why the Electoral College, they won a popular vote, but the Electoral College, they voted and said they won. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I feel like they know who they put in there. It's just kind of one of the things that it's got to be a race.
Yeah.
They got to run the race and everything like that. So I feel like they know who's going in there, no doubt, regardless of if we go out and vote, if we go out and do this. And like I said, a community vote, that's great. You know what I'm saying? But when you go into the polls for a Kamala and a Trump like that, you voting and you may feel like, hey, this person should win. I don't see Trump winning at all. It don't matter what you see.
Right.
It's about what the powers that be.
It's already been set out.
Exactly. Exactly, bro.
Us being, the ethnicity we are, we know how to survive.
Right.
So,
facts.
It don't matter who's president.
Facts.
Even though, I mean, it does affect us 100%.
Oh yeah.
We just know how to adapt to it. So
real spill. We adaptive people.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. And I seen this movie. It was called Idiocracy, bro. I'm gonna share it with you later on.
Okay.
Instead of people getting smarter in the future, people got stupider in the future. Like how we predict that people only gonna get smarter and more intelligent. Instead, it's just more dumb people breeded, because all the smart people, they wasn't getting the women. They want the smart guys. They wanted the good looking guys and everything, but they weren't that smart. So they just gave a bunch of dumb offspring.
Well, okay.
And so when it came to the president, which was Terry Crews, funny as hell, he would come out on stage and he had like a machine gun and he'd be dressed in like an American flag, bro. And he was a wrestler. He had like 30 jobs, bro, but he was a president, but this who they allowed to be their president. And I was like, with Trump in office, like how he got potty mouth and he'd have been criminal cases, all this type of shit, but he still could be president. It's like, it don't seem too far-fetched, like from that movie, Idiocracy, bro. Like what a country could be headed. But I mean, I know we ain't gonna go that far to the point where everybody just super dumb in the future. Of course not. But it's almost like some truth to it in a sense. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it is though. Of the strength that, I mean, I don't know. Me personally, I don't know anybody that had 34 felony counts of anything and became head of anything.
Running the country,
especially running our country. But nevertheless, it's here. So
right.
You got to expect that effect. When it comes down to stuff like that, but that's just. We just know how to. Us as our people, we know how to adapt and survive. So no matter who's in office or anything like that, we gonna persevere and go and take care of ourselves.
Facts.
So
the one thing I know about black people is that we can make anything fun.
Most definitely.
Black people funny as hell. Anytime you get a bunch of us together, as long as don't no BS break out, you had the time of your life. Real spill.
Yes, sir.
That's no doubt. Now, if that was one thing you could bring back to the village of Robbins that used to be here, that ain't here no more, what would it be?
All right. So only the Robbins people would know about this, but Blanches.
Oh man, Blanches.
I mean, granted, I know that's not gonna ever happen, but if we could get that Blanches back, that'd be man. Everybody went to Blanches or Teeny's Kitchen.
Oh yeah, Teeny's Kitchen.
A lot of people remember about Teeny's Kitchen from the trusty old Troggins.
Man,
it's the Golo gas station now.
It was attached to that.
Most definitely. But that's one thing that I mean, which I know is not gonna come back. But
man, I miss going to Blanches and hearing that chopping. Chop, be with you in a minute.
Yeah.
Chop, be like, cool, I'll wait that fit, whatever I gotta wait.
And you standing there with 25 other people.
Right.
In a small space. Yep. Just waiting.
What up, G? What's going on? I'm out there, got the pot niggas shooting dice outside.
Man, everything going on.
The little stone next door.
The liquor store next door. Yeah.
Man, it was.
You see 70 people standing in there, and it's only the
so
occupancy is 5.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I'm telling you.
Hey, let me get a pack of Black and Miles.
But I mean, that's somewhere that everybody went to. You know, if you was from Robbins, you went there. At least you went there multiple times. But yeah, that's something that I love. I mean, I know it's gone now, but that's something that I love to see.
That Blanches, man, that time machine.
Yeah.
Hot tub time machine, the Blanches, right?
Man.
Real spill. Now, do you have any closing remarks, T? Anything you want to say to the people? Anything like that?
No, I want to shout you out. I really do.
I appreciate it.
Like, to those that don't know, I mean, we grew up together, but nevertheless,
brothers.
I take my hat off to you, what you're doing there, bro, and you're a blessing. I love you, and I'm glad you where you at now.
Thank you, bro. You're a blessing too, and I love you too, bro. Man, we only gonna go higher with each other.
Yes,
you know, that's our own separate entities, and it's one force. We only gonna go higher, bro.
Yeah,
real spirit. And I love having you on here, bro.
I appreciate that.
We definitely gonna do it again in the future.
Yes, sir.
No doubt. And it's been the kid Damaco Diggs. It's been Thomas Harper, Mudville Robbins trustee, right here on the Biggest Flex podcast. Y'all make sure to tap in with me next week, 7 p.m. same time. Y'all also please subscribe to my YouTube, The Biggest Flex. That's DA, Biggest Flex. Become a subscriber. I'm definitely trying to grow my channel, trying to make my numbers go up. So I appreciate the continued support. Thank you. Love y'all. See y'all next week. There you go.
Yes, sir.